and thank you so much for joining me for Saturday Night Crafting. Tonight we are going to step up the bottle tags we made on Wednesday. So if you joined me on Wednesday, this is kind of a follow-on, but you can watch this one and not watch Wednesday if you would like. But tonight we are going to jazz up our tags. We're going to do very simple, very quick, effective tag making for our bottles or jars, and we are going to make them absolutely stunning, but we're not going to take a lot of time to do it. And I'm going to share with you a few different styles and options. So on the screen you can see the reminder of the dimensions for the tags, the base tags that we're going to use to make our bottle tags. So this will fit a standard wine bottle and most jars or sauce bottles, as you'll see in a minute. So I went ahead and prepped myself a whole bunch of little bases. This took me maybe 10 minutes tops. I went ahead and used those measurements and cut myself those little tags, and then I went ahead and used my circle dies and put my little hole in the top to go over the bottle. So I started out my day by doing that first, which was about 10 to 15 minutes of my afternoon, and it was really nice and quick and easy, and I had my little tags prepped and ready. So the first one I'm going to share with you tonight is a pocket for your bottle tag. So let's say you're giving a bottle of wine and you want to give a nice little chocolate bar with it. It needs to be a bit small because you don't want it to be too heavy or huge on your bottle. But you want to add in a little bit of something extra. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make a little pocket. I've got this decorative paper here, which I bought years ago in Canada, so I have no idea if it's available or not, but I got it in Michael's, and I love it. It's one of my favorite paper pads. So I'm going to go ahead and use my more solid color for my paper pad, and I'm going to make up some tags. Now, to save on time again, so I can have a few of these ready to go, I'm going to just cut up my whole entire paper pad, and I'm going to make them into tags. So I get a nice set of, I think, 6 out of a 12 by 12 sheet of card. And then I'm going to go ahead and make my little pockets. So this is the sort of idea here. We're going to cut a little dimensional pocket to go on the front of our tag. And the dimensions are here on the screen. I will do my best to put them in the description box below as well. However, sometimes I forget, so just give me a little poke with a comment and remind me. So that's what it looks like when it's all done and cut out. Those are your measurements there. It's going to be 5 by 4 inches, and we're going to score it 1/2 inch and 1 inch on the 3 sides. So the 2 short sides and 1 long side. Now pay attention if you're using your designer papers, and make sure that you've got your pattern going the direction you want it to go. Now again, I used up my whole entire sheet of 12 by 12 just to see how many I could get, and I could get 6 out of there. And then I managed 5 tags out of my 12 by 12 piece of paper, and this is all the wastage I had left. So it's a really nice, quick, easy way to make up some tags for bottles and not have too much waste. So we're going to start with the long edge, and I'm going to score it 1/2 inch and 1 inch, then flip it to the long edge, 1/2 inch, 1 inch, and then again the short edge. That way we will get our nice little pocket ready to go. It is difficult to see, but if you remember the picture that I shared with you at the very beginning of where you're going to snip, it makes it very easy. So you can pause your screen there and then snip your corners off. So we're basically going to cut the whole entire outside little set of squares, 2 squares. Then we're going to trim off the end square, so we have just that one little square left, and then we're going to put little notches in. And the only reason we put the notches in is it helps when we fold it up. It doesn't kind of crease over on itself and get a bit stuck. So we notch the top ones as well, just to kind of make it a bit more movable, a bit easier to stick together. I don't know the right terms, but a lot of people do that when you do box making and things. So we'll stick some glue on those 2 little flaps down there and just pinch it together. My glue is great. It dries within a few seconds, so I don't have to pinch for very long. You could, of course, also use a really strong double-sided adhesive to stick down your pocket. Whatever you've got to hand, that will be nice and solid if you want to put something a little bit heavier in this little pocket. So now I'm going to put down a bit of glue on those 2 corners that are going to touch that little bottom strip, and then I can go ahead and attach it to my panel once my panel is ready. Now I wanted to add a little bit more bling to it, so I'm going to take a scalloped circle and a normal circle, and when you put them together and you cut them out, you can get a beautiful little border. So I've done that on nearly all of my tags today because I just loved how it looked. I've taken this tag set here, which is from Craft Stash. I'll do my best to link everything I've used today down below, but there is a lot of supplies that I've used and I will probably forget. So just ping me a message in the comments and then I'll pop it into the description box and leave you a message to say I've done it. I do that quite a lot. I often forget things, and I will hopefully be able to tag or link most of the stuff I used today. Now, once I've gone and glued that on, I'm just going to use a bone folder to kind of push it down because I can't get my little fat fingers in there to give it a nice firm press. So I'm going to use my bone folder. I'm going to take my thank you stamp set from Catherine Pooler. This is new in my collection, but you've probably already seen it being used about 6 times because I love it. It's got all the right kind of sizes and fonts. I love a stamp set that's got different fonts, different sizes. I love it. So I've made myself a little label and I'm going to stick that on the front. But first I'm going to go ahead and make my corners all nice and rounded, and I feel like that makes it a little bit more classy. When I put my label on the front, I felt like it was missing something to kind of, I don't know, pull that tag off the front a little bit more. So one of my top favorite loves is using metallic thread, and I love to just bundle it up and stick it on the back of my little tag, and then it kind of pokes out all messy from behind, but it just kind of breaks up the tag from the card a little bit, and then with a bit of foam dimension behind it, it then pops off nice and beautifully. Now these metallic threads I buy in sets of about 10 or 12, and I usually get them from AliExpress, and they are fantastic. I've got 2 sets now, but I still haven't even finished either of them. They last forever, but they come with all different colors of metallic thread, so I can match it to any of my projects. So there's our little pocket all done, and then when you've gone and got your chocolates, this is a full-size Kit Kat bar. It fits nice and beautifully in that pocket, and then it's ready to gift to somebody, so for a birthday or a thank you. I'm doing all these, by the way, for teacher gifts and birthdays, so I want to have a nice little stash, and I've got a little wine cabinet, and I've got a little drawer in my wine cabinet, so I'm just going to tuck them in there and have them ready to go. Now we're going to move on to some bunting tags. So if you want to have a bit of a different style of tag, we can do it like this. I've got my Tim Holtz ruler, which has a center point in the middle of the ruler. So all I have to do is just make sure the left and right side line up and my zero's in the center, and then I can go ahead and have a nice little central point. So I've drawn a line down the middle of my bottom of my tag, and I'm just going to take my scissors and I'm going to cut from the corner to that middle, and then I'm going to cut from the other corner to that middle, and it gives me a nice and easy little bunting line. And I don't have to worry about the pencil marks because I've just cut those off my bottom. Now if you got a set of square dies, you can cheat and do this with these, or a large square punch, you can do the same. You just have to line up your point and eyeball it in the center, and then apply your low tack tape. Now do be careful if you're using foil paper like I'm doing here. I put my low tack tape down and it did remove a bit of that foil when I pulled it off. So just be mindful of what cardstock you're working with and whether your tape might lift it slightly by going through the Big Shot. Or your die cutting machine, I should say. So I've gone and cut myself a couple of these in gold, my little top label bits, and then I went ahead and finished it off screen. So I added some foliage there to the one tag, and then I added some of my metallic thread behind the other one. So nice, quick, easy way to use up your designer papers if you've got those foiled designer papers and make it look like a really glitzy, glammy tag, but you've not really had to do very much at all to make it. Now we're going to go with a hidden label. So let's say these are homemade jars of sauce. Pretend they're not from the shop. You've made some homemade sauce. You've made some salsa. You've made some salad dressing. You've made something yourself. And you've got a bottle that you want to gift to someone. Now you might need to put in the ingredients. So you might need an ingredients list, or you might want your directions on how to cook with it or whatever they're going to do with it. So you want to have a little label that can contain another label itself. So we're going to make a little flap to go on the front of our label. It's going to be 8 7/8 long by 2 7/8 wide, and that will give you a nice little border around the tag. So you're obviously going to fold it in half. So when you've picked out your tag base, find some designer paper that kind of matches, that doesn't have anything on the other side of the designer paper, and or you could print off your labels on your computer and do some stamping on the other side of that paper, and you could do the exact same thing. So I'm just going to glue down the back side of it, and then you've got your little flap. Now it's a bit annoying because it pops open, pings up. So this is where we're going to kind of go all shabby chic. We're going to get some twine out, tie a nice little pretty bow, make a little tag, and attach it to the bow. So dead simple and quick and easy. And you can have a beautiful little label that doubles as an instruction or ingredients list. So I'm using this little tag die from Alina's shop, and she's got this little set of stamps for interactive cards, and it had this fantastic little label which said look inside, and I thought that worked perfect. So it gave somebody a hint that, you know, there's a little bit of a hidden label inside the label. So I'm going to go ahead and tie that onto my little bow, and that kind of finishes it off. And now I could put a little gold frilly circle thing around the top like I did on the last ones, but I just thought it looked really cute. Went really well with a little jar of something possibly homemade, or you could just gift a jar of Pizza Express salad dressing if you want, you know, and put a little love note on the inside of that little flip bit. Right, now we're going to move on to making our tags that are just going to be very blingy. I didn't know what to call these ones. This is so simple and so easy. Take your foil card. Mine is holographic card, which is from Rainbow Card in the UK. They are a fantastic shop. I'll put the link down below. They offer 20% off to new customers with their shop, so you can check out those links down below. There's a little discount code you can put in. Now all I did was take a 3D embossing folder and just run it through the bottom half. And then I've gone and cut myself some glitter cardstock for that top bit there, and I made myself another little label using my labels from my label die set. And that was so simple and quick and easy, and it looks really stunning and really fancy and glitzy and glammy. So they're so easy to do. Foil card is amazing for embossing, and if you have got your tags all pre-cut with your foil card, it's so quick and easy. You just run them through your die cutting machine and you can emboss out a whole bunch. So I did pink, purple and gold, and I use this die set here from Creative Expressions, and it's just a beautiful little decorative doily kind of die cut. And I went ahead and stamped happy birthday on the front, and those will just go in my drawer in my kitchen, and then when I want to give a bottle of wine for a birthday, I can just grab one of those and quickly chuck it on top. And it's just so quick and simple and easy, but really pretty and stunning at the same time. Now, as a quick reminder, I will leave links down below for my Facebook group as well as my Instagram if you want to come and hang out with me on either of those two groups. Now, another one of the things we can do is mix media. This is another quick and easy way to make a beautiful background and make a gorgeous tag for your bottle. So I'm using my Distress inks, and I've got squeezed lemonade and seedless preserves. And I'm just going to squish them down on my mat, spritz with some water. My tags are made with watercolor card, by the way, I should say, so they take on the water really nicely. So once I've gone ahead and absorbed up some of that color with my tag, I then want to heat set it and dry it fully before I apply the next color. Otherwise, yellow and purple I think tend to make a bit of a brown color, and we don't really want that. So we want the colors to build on top of each other. So that one's off to the side to dry, and I'm going to use my powders next. These are my Pretty Gets Gritty Explosion powders. These do ship worldwide. I know some people had said that they weren't sure if they could get them, but they do ship worldwide, so I'll link them down below. I'm going to use my sort of pinky red and my purple and my blue. I would say the colors, but I can't remember them right now. And they're a really nice way to add a really pigmented chunk of color, but also they've got mica powder in them, so you get this kind of glitzy look to them as well, which is really fun. So I'm going to make a couple different tags. Now this is a tag that I cut from another tag. So I have a set of tag dies that are quite large, and I thought it would be fun to cut myself a little tag out of a tag die. So I went and did the same thing, and I scored the top of my tag where I would have scored it if it was just a plain rectangle, and then die cut myself a little circle out the top, and just decided to go for a fun bulky one this time. Now I had loads left over on my mat and I didn't want to waste it, so I grabbed a bunch of shapes and soaked up some of that ink and then used those for my final tag as well. Now here are my finished tags. I really love how they look and they turned out. I used black as sort of my accent color and stamped this beautiful floral image from another Pretty Gets Gritty stamp set. Then I used some black cardstock to tie in with the black that I used for the stamping to go around that top circle to create that little decorative edge. And I love how these ones turned out. I love that mixed media feel. And you can see the one on the right there. I just stacked all my die cuts and stamped in the middle. Now the last and final design I have to share with you is just a simple layering up. So I went ahead and found a bunch of die cuts and cut them all out of one paper pack. Found a flower, 3-dimensional flower, and some metallic leaves. And I just stacked them all up onto a tag and just made sort of a classy front tag. I don't know how to describe it. But these are so simple and easy to do. I really hope you feel inspired by this and that you get a bit more creative with your tags. I mean, my ideas are still buzzing. I've got even, shaker tags you could do. Now, I have a bonus video on Monday. I am doing a vlog hop with Craft Stash, and I will be presenting a Christmas card on Monday, and it will be up from about 7 o'clock in the morning. There will be a whole bunch of others joining in, so I will put their links in the description box, but I hope you come over and see me on Monday for a quick fun technique. Take care, hope you have a fantastic weekend. Bye!